My name is Daniel Carter. I'm 34 years old, a senior software developer who got lucky enough to work remotely before it was trendy. I bought this house, my house technically, 3 years before I met Amy. 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage, suburban dream with a mortgage I could handle on my own. I thought I was building something permanent. Amy walked into my life when she was 28. We met through Jake and Sarah, mutual friends who swore we'd be perfect together. They weren't wrong, at least I didn't think they were. She had this way of making everything feel like an adventure, even grocery shopping. We'd spend Saturday mornings hiking trails, then collapse on my couch watching the trashiest reality TV we could find, her head on my chest, both of us laughing at the manufactured drama. The wedding was everything she wanted, a garden ceremony with fairy lights strung through oak trees, her in white lace, me trying not to cry as she walked down the aisle. Her father, Brian, clapped me on the shoulder afterward and said, "Take care of my little girl." I promised I would. God, I meant it. 2 years into our marriage, Amy quit her marketing job. "I want to focus on making our home perfect," she said, and I believed her. Why wouldn't I? I made enough to support us both. $98,000 a year goes far in the suburbs. She transformed the house, made it warm, alive, cooked these elaborate dinners sometimes, organized everything down to the label maker she obsessed over. We had our routines carved in stone. Friday movie nights with overpriced popcorn, Sunday morning coffee on the patio while she read lifestyle blogs and I scrolled sports news, annual hiking trips to Yosemite or Yellowstone where we'd disconnect completely. No kids yet. Soon, Amy always said when anyone asked. When we're ready, I was ready. I'd been ready. But I didn't push. 4 years passed like a comfortable dream. Then something shifted. It started with her phone. She'd angle it away when I walked by, quick little tilts like she was hiding cards in a poker game. New makeup appeared. Expensive brands she'd never cared about before. She'd dress up just to stay home, wearing perfume to vacuum. "How was your day?" I'd ask. "Just the usual. Cleaned. Watched some shows," she'd reply. But there were cracks in the usual. New lingerie in the laundry, black lace, red silk. Things she never wore for me anymore. A second phone charger in her car that wasn't there before browser history cleared daily on our shared laptop. "You're being paranoid," I told myself. 6 years of marriage, things naturally settle. But my gut knew. My gut always knows when code has bugs, and my marriage had developed a critical error. Thursday evening changed everything. I was in my home office, taking a break from debugging a particularly nasty piece of legacy code. My eyes hurt, my brain was fried, so I did what millions of men do. Opened Reddit for mindless scrolling, clicked on a NSFS subreddit. Just distraction, harmless escape. A photo appeared. Woman's naked body, posed suggestively, no face visible. My finger was already moving to scroll past when something made me freeze. A mole, lower back, left side, crescent-shaped. My hands started trembling. That mole, I'd kissed it 1,000 times, traced it with my finger in the dark. Amy has that exact mole. The profile, user MysteryGirl29, dozens of posts, explicit angles, creative positions, all faceless, but Christ, the body was unmistakable. And the backgrounds, furniture, decorations, not our house, but familiar somehow. My world tilted off its axis. Everything I thought I knew just shattered. And thousands of strangers had seen what I thought was mine alone. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to Amy, watching her breathe peacefully while my mind raced through every possibility. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe someone looked similar. Maybe I was losing my mind. But that mole, God, that damn mole, was like a fingerprint. By morning, the doubt had crystallized into cold determination. I needed proof. Undeniable, court-admissible proof. I sat in my office, door locked, and created User Travel Guy 88. Generic name, believable backstory. I spent an hour crafting the perfect profile. Sales executive, divorced, travels for work, looking for meaningful connections, the kind of man bored housewives fantasize about. My fingers hovered over the keyboard before typing the message. Hey, love your posts. You're absolutely stunning. Would love to chat if you're interested. I sent it to user MysteryGirl29, then closed the laptop like it might explode. That evening, making dinner together, Amy seemed normal. She hummed while chopping vegetables, told me about a new show she'd started watching, kissed my cheek when I handed her a glass of wine. I smiled, laughed at her jokes, played the devoted husband while my phone burned in my pocket. After she went to shower, I checked. A response. Thanks. Always happy to chat with someone respectful. What do you do? She'd written. My heart hammered against my ribs. She was engaging. My wife was flirting with a stranger who was actually me. Over 3 days, I became Travel Guy 88, sent messages during work hours, deleted them immediately after reading her responses, learned things about my wife I never knew, or maybe she was inventing a new persona entirely. Mystery Girl 29 claimed to be single and free, looking for excitement, tired of boring routines. Every word was a knife between my ribs. I noticed her patterns with surgical precision. Messages stopped when she was near me, resumed the moment I was working. She'd check her phone and smile, that secret smile I used to think was just contentment. Now I knew it was anticipation. Thursday afternoon, I escalated. I'll be in your area next week for work. Want to grab coffee? Maybe dinner if we click? 2 hours. 2 hours of pretending to code while staring at my phone. That sounds nice. I'm single, so no drama. Just looking for a good time, came her response. Single. The word blurred on my screen. Single. 6 years of marriage, and she tells a stranger she's single. We arranged details like planning a business meeting. Saturday, 7 p.m., the Riverside Bistro. She'd wear a blue dress, sit at a corner table. My wife was scheduling her infidelity with the efficiency she once used to plan our anniversaries. That's when I called Rebecca. I need a divorce attorney, I said, voice steady as granite. The aggressive kind. Rebecca reviewed everything within hours. Screenshots, chat logs, the explicit photos with metadata proving they were taken in our vicinity. This is bulletproof, she said, with the satisfaction of a prosecutor with a confession. Infidelity, emotional affair, intent to physically cheat, she won't get a dime. I opened a separate bank account that afternoon. Started moving money. Nothing suspicious, just careful preparation. The house was mine before marriage, stayed mine after Amy had built her life on my foundation, and I was about to pull it out from under her. Friday night, she curled against me on the couch for movie night. I held her, smelled her vanilla shampoo, felt her warmth, and knew it was the last time she fell asleep halfway through the movie, and I sat there memorizing her face. Not the woman she was, but the woman I'd thought she was. Saturday morning arrived like a countdown reaching 0. Client emergency, I told her, getting dressed in my weekend work clothes. Might be late. She barely looked up from her phone. Okay, babe. I'll order takeout, she said, already lying about her plans. The casual cruelty of it made my decision easier. At 6:30 p.m., I sat in my car outside the Riverside Bistro, breathing deeply, preparing for war. She thought she was meeting a stranger who found her irresistible. Instead, she was about to meet her husband, and the end of everything. The Riverside Bistro hummed with Saturday night energy, couples laughing over wine, families celebrating birthdays, soft jazz creating ambiance for romance and betrayal alike. I stood at the entrance, scanning the room like a sniper seeking a target. Corner table, blue dress that hugged curves I knew by heart, hair styled in waves that must have taken her an hour, effort she hadn't made for me in months. She kept checking her phone, sipping red wine, nervous excitement making her glow. She looked beautiful. She looked like a stranger. I walked through the restaurant with deliberate calm, each step measured, controlled. Pulled out the chair across from her, sat down. Amy's eyes lifted from her phone. That expectant smile froze, morphed into confusion, then horror. "Daniel? What are you doing here?" she stammered. "Meeting my date," I replied. My voice came out steadier than I felt. "Aren't you meeting yours?" I'm meeting a friend," she started. I pulled out my phone with theatrical precision, opened Reddit, showed her everything, our entire conversation, every flirtation, every lie she'd typed thinking she was seducing a stranger. "Your friend is me, Travel Guy 88, I said, setting the phone between us like evidence at trial. "I'm your date, Amy." The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. "Daniel, this isn't," she sputtered. "You told me you're single," I continued, each word deliberate, controlled. "You posted naked pictures online for thousands of strangers. You arranged to meet someone tonight. To do what, exactly?" "It's not what it looks like," she protested. "Then explain what it looks like. Please. I'm fascinated," I said flatly. People at nearby tables were watching now, voices lowered to whispers, phones probably recording. Amy's eyes darted around, realizing we had an audience. "I made a mistake," she whispered, tears starting. "I was bored. I didn't mean—" "You didn't mean to cheat? Or didn't mean to get caught?" I asked. "Please, let's go home and talk," she begged. "There is no home for you anymore," I announced, standing and letting my height advantage make the point. "I've already contacted a lawyer. Divorce papers are being drafted. I have screenshots of everything, every photo, every message, every single lie. You won't get a penny." "Daniel, no!" She grabbed my wrist, desperation replacing dignity. "Please, give me another chance. I love you." "You love me?" I laughed, bitter, harsh. "You told strangers online you're single. That's not love, Amy. That's betrayal." "I'll delete everything. I'll never do it again. I'll change," she pleaded. I pulled my arm free, looked down at this woman I'd promised to cherish forever. "You want to change? Start by finding somewhere else to live." I turned and walked through the restaurant, leaving her sobbing at that corner table, surrounded by strangers' judgment. Behind me, I heard her calling my name, begging I didn't stop. In my car, adrenaline crashed over me in waves. My hands shook as I dialed a number I'd never had to use for something like this. "Daniel?" Brian's voice came through, warm and concerned. "Everything okay?" "Brian, I need to tell you something," I said after a deep breath. "I'm filing for divorce." Silence stretched like a held breath. "What? Why?" he asked. I explained with clinical detachment. The Reddit discovery, the catfishing, tonight's confrontation. Facts only, no emotion. Let the facts speak their own condemnation. "Are you absolutely certain?" he asked. His voice had aged 10 years. "I have screenshots, chat logs. She showed up tonight thinking she was meeting another man. She told him she's single," I explained. I heard Susan's voice in the background, then the hollow echo of speakerphone. She actually went?" Susan's voice cut in, sharp with disbelief. "She's probably still there, crying at the table," I confirmed. A long exhale from Brian. "I'm so sorry, Daniel. We had no idea. I wanted you to hear it from me first, before she tries to spin this," I told them. Susan's voice cut through like a blade. "She's not welcome here either." Those 4 words carried more finality than any divorce decree. After hanging up, I drove home and called an emergency locksmith. "Every lock, every door," I told him. Tonight, while he worked, I packed Amy's belongings with the efficiency of an eviction. Clothes, shoes, makeup, jewelry, everything that was hers went into suitcases and boxes, 6 years of accumulated life reduced to a pile on the front porch. By the time headlights swept across the driveway, I was sitting in my office, watching security cameras I'd installed but never needed until now. She tried her key 3 times before understanding. Then the pounding started. "Daniel, open the door! Please, let me explain!" she shouted. I opened it but blocked the entrance with my body. Your things are on the porch. Take them and leave. Where am I supposed to go? She cried. Mascara ran in thick streams down her cheeks. Not my problem anymore, I answered. Daniel, please, I made one mistake. I'll do anything. Therapy, counseling, whatever you want, she begged. One mistake? I almost laughed. You made dozens of choices. Every photo uploaded, every message sent, every lie told, and tonight you chose to show up thinking you were meeting another man. I love you, she insisted. No, you loved what I provided. Stability, security, a house you didn't pay for, a life you didn't earn, I said. I closed the door on her face, on our marriage, on every promise we'd made. She collapsed on the porch, sobbing, begging through the door. I put on noise-canceling headphones and went back to work. Some bugs can't be fixed. You have to delete them entirely and start over with clean code. Amy sat in her car outside my house for 2 hours that night. I watched her on the security cameras, a broken figure illuminated by streetlights, face buried in her hands. She tried calling 37 times before realizing I'd blocked her number. The messages turned green, then stopped altogether. At 2 a.m., she finally drove away. I found out later what happened next through the brutal efficiency of small-town gossip and social media. She'd deleted user MysteryGirl29 while still in the restaurant parking lot, but I'd already archived everything. Screenshots, metadata, chat logs, all saved to multiple clouds, printed for my attorney, backed up beyond any possibility of denial. With nowhere else to go, Amy drove to her parents' house. Susan answered the door in her robe, took one look at her daughter's destroyed makeup and wrinkled dress, and delivered justice with an open palm. The slap echoed through the neighborhood. You humiliated yourself, Susan said, loud enough for Ring cameras to capture. You humiliated us. You destroyed your marriage for attention from perverts on the internet. Brian stood behind his wife like a fortress wall. When Amy begged to stay just one night, he simply said, You heard your mother, and closed the door. The lockout was total. Amy's sister Melissa blocked her before she could finish typing a text. Her college friends, Jennifer, Katie, Sophia, all blocked her within hours. I hadn't sent anything to anyone except Amy's parents, but news travels at light speed when it's this scandalous. Someone at the restaurant had recorded part of our confrontation. The video went semi-viral locally. Cheating wife caught meeting Reddit date, it's her husband. Monday morning, my lawyer called. She's not contesting anything. Her attorney advised her she has no grounds. The evidence is overwhelming, Rebecca informed me. The joint checking account had $847. I'd moved everything else to my personal accounts. Legally, properly, but quickly. The house remained mine alone. No alimony would be considered given the documented infidelity. Total victory. Amy found a motel that rented by the week. Then a studio apartment in the worst part of town. Bars on windows, police sirens as white noise. She got a job at a discount grocery store. Part-time, minimum wage, no benefits worth mentioning. I heard about her situation through Jake, who'd run into her bagging groceries. She looked rough, man, he said over beers. Like she'd aged 5 years in 2 months. Not my problem, I replied, and meant it. The divorce finalized in 60 days. State minimum, no delays. I signed papers in my attorney's office while Amy signed hers at a public library because she couldn't afford her own lawyer's office fees. Meanwhile, I thrived. Work promoted me to technical lead. I started hiking again. Solo trips to clear my head, remember who I was before her. My parents visited, stayed for a week, helped me repaint rooms and exercise memories. My sister called daily at first, then weekly, always checking in. You saved yourself, she said. Thank God you found out. 3 months after that restaurant confrontation, I went on my first date. Coffee only, nothing serious, but the woman was kind, employed, and didn't have a secret Reddit account progress. Amy tried one last time to reach out. A handwritten letter delivered to my office. Daniel, I know you'll probably throw this away, but I need you to know I'm sorry. I destroyed everything for nothing. For validation from strangers who don't know my name. You loved me completely, and I threw it away because I was bored. I'm in therapy now, learning why I did what I did. But that doesn't undo it. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that losing you is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, and I did it to myself. Be happy. You deserve it. Amy. I read it once, then shredded it. Apologies don't resurrect trust. Sorry doesn't rebuild marriages. Regret doesn't undo betrayal. 6 months later, I sold the house. Bought something smaller, closer to the mountains, with no memories attached to any room. Fresh start, clean slate, new life. I heard Amy still works at that grocery store, still lives in that studio apartment, still has no family willing to speak to her. She made her choices, dozens of them, each one a deliberate step away from our marriage and toward a fantasy that evaporated the moment reality showed up. Now she lives with the consequences, and I live free. The morning my divorce finalized, I woke up feeling physically lighter, like I'd been carrying invisible weight for months, and finally set it down. Rebecca had called it the cleanest divorce she'd handled in 15 years of practice. No assets transferred, no alimony, no ongoing obligations, she told me. She actually smiled, a rare thing for divorce attorneys. You're completely free. Free. The word tasted foreign but good, like exotic food you're trying for the first time. I walked out of her office into October sunshine that felt like personal congratulations. My phone buzzed with messages from people who mattered. Mom, Dad, my sister Emma, real friends who'd stood by me through the nightmare. Each one saying variations of the same thing. Proud of you. Work had become my sanctuary during the divorce proceedings. Code didn't lie. Functions either worked or they didn't. No emotional manipulation, no gaslighting, no secret Reddit accounts. My focus impressed management enough that they promoted me to technical lead with a $20,000 raise. Karma, delivered via direct deposit. I started therapy, not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand how I'd missed the signs. Dr. Martinez helped me realize I hadn't missed them. I'd simply trusted my wife. That's not naivety, she explained. That's what marriage is supposed to be. Solo hiking became my church. Every weekend, different trails, just me and nature and silence. No phone angled away from me, no suspicious browser histories, no lies. I rediscovered the person I'd been before Amy. Actually, I discovered someone better, stronger, someone who'd survived betrayal and chosen not to become bitter. 3 months post-divorce, I went on that first date. Sarah from the coffee shop. It went nowhere romantic, but it proved I could still connect with people that Amy hadn't broken that part of me. The house sold quickly. Young couple, pregnant with their first kid, excited about the big backyard. I hoped they'd be happier there than I'd been. My new place was smaller but mine entirely. Mountain views, no shared memories, rooms that had never heard Amy's lies. Sometimes, driving through town, I'd pass that discount grocery store where Amy worked. I never went in. That chapter was closed, the book burned, the library demolished. But I heard things. Small town, big gossip. Amy still worked there, 4-hour shifts, aching feet, polyester uniform. Still lived in that studio apartment with bars on the windows. Her parents hadn't spoken to her in 6 months. Her sister had gotten engaged and didn't invite Amy to the wedding. Complete exile from everyone who'd once loved her. Jake saw her once, bagging groceries with mechanical precision, and said she looked like a ghost of herself. Empty eyes, man. Like she was just existing, he told me. Existing. Not living. The difference matters. One evening, 6 months after everything ended, I sat on my new deck, watching the sunset paint the mountains gold. My phone rang, Emma, calling to plan Mom's birthday dinner. "You sound good," she said. "Happy." "I am," I replied and meant it. "Thank God you found out when you did. Imagine if you'd had kids with her," she added. I had imagined it. Many times. The thought always led to gratitude for dodging that bullet. After we hung up, I sat in comfortable silence, bourbon in hand, peace in heart. Somewhere across town, Amy was probably returning to her studio apartment, heating up ramen, scrolling through her phone with no secret Reddit account to check, no messages from strangers telling her she was beautiful, no husband to betray. She'd traded everything real for digital validation, exchanged a life for likes, destroyed a marriage for the masturbatory fantasy of strangers who didn't know her name. Now she had exactly what she'd earned. Nothing. And I had what I'd always deserved. Freedom. The sun disappeared behind the mountains. I went inside my house, and closed the door on the past. Some stories end with reconciliation, some with forgiveness. This one ends with justice, and that's exactly how it should be. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.